We've all heard people say that young people don't turn out to vote, that we're lazy, or that we don't understand how things work. Now, it's true that in modern times, youth voting turnout isn't great. It hovers around 50%, but this wasn't always the case. So what happened? Why did the youth vote go from a guarantee to a distant dream? How do we fix it? And most importantly, why does it matter? Young people built our democracy. Most of the founding fathers were in what we would consider to be their youth when they were creating the nation, except for Ben Franklin. In 1971, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and 20-year-olds got the right to vote under the 26th Amendment. But before that, the youth vote was considered to be 21 to 29, and this was one of the most active voting blocs in the nation. Their turnout was consistently around 80% between 1840 and 1896. The answer to why partially has to do with the realities of the 19th century. Back then, young people rarely got to hang out. Today you can see your friends and try and find a significant other at school, or at the mall, or online, but the concept of a teenager didn't really exist until the 1950s. In the 19th century, political clubs were the only places you could meet friends and feel mature. I'm not joking. According to John Greenspan, a curator of political history at the Smithsonian, politics promised a feeling of progress, and also romantic opportunities, as courtships could drag even the most apolitical young men and women into politics. Imagine that. Politics was the dating app. To keep the metaphor going, in the early republic, the concept of your virgin vote was really, really important, meaning the first vote you had when you came of age. Kids literally looked forward to the day they'd be able to cast their first ballot. It made them feel respected, and it made them feel heard. I think a lot of young people today can identify with that. Do you feel heard? Do you feel respected? The height of youth voting lined up almost perfectly with the Industrial Revolution, and that's no accident. That's when everything was changing, from cities to medicine to cultural norms. Young people were fueling the new factories. They were fighting the many wars of the period, and they were voting as a way to gain control. And they were successful. When there were spikes in youth voting, it led to the progressive era, to civil rights, and led us out of a lot of recessions. We are now in a digital revolution, which is once again changing society in equally profound ways, maybe even more so. Will this age of the iPhone, social media, and AI lead to higher levels of young people voting? Just watch a congressional hearing on technology. Seriously, guys, they need our help. All elections shape the future, and that's especially true this year. What do you want the United States to do about the climate crisis, bodily autonomy, immigration, the economy, foreign wars we may have to fight in? Serious stuff. 150 years ago, 80% of young people voted for far less impactful stakes. If 80% of the youth voted today, the electoral map would be radically different. A lot of experts would have to rewrite the rules, and politicians would have a much larger voting bloc they need to court. Suddenly, the issues you care about are on the agenda. And for those of you that aren't 18 yet, like me, if you have an older brother or sister who's unsure if they want to vote, try and convince them. It's the next best thing. So stand up, speak out, and be heard. Register to vote and cast your ballot, because your vote is the ticket to the future you want to live in. And I'm going to have to live in it with you, so make sure you cast your vote wisely.